hear what I hear.
Welcome back to The Strongest Guild on YouTube. Last time we talked 100 Years Quest, we stumbled back into the world of Daedalus, where alternate Edo, Natsu, and Lucy not only had a child named Nasha, but were also married. There was a specific panel where Lucy literally screams about that moment, and with each chapter we progress further and further to Natsu proposing to Lucy as he has already done in Daedalus. So of course we have to talk not only more about that, but we finally uncovered exactly where the story is going now that the moon god dragon Selene, who we've seen brief glimpses of, has finally revealed herself. By the way, hope you guys like the room. I mean, the office space is almost done. The wall of fairy tale sign stuff. It's like we're gonna have to do an office tour at some point. But before we get into that, I have something pretty amazing to tell you all about that I've been using lately. Sure, plenty of the time I'm in Japan or back and forth from Japan to the US, but when I'm in the States, especially Surfshark VPN can come in handy. Like if I want to watch something like Fairy Tail, want to watch all 9 seasons of Fairy Tail with subtitles, want to watch the Fairy Tail films like Dragon Cry? Well, if you're anywhere outside of Japan and you're searching on Netflix, you'll probably find that those don't exist on Netflix only for you. But with Surfshark's extremely easy to use VPN virtual private network, you can instantly access Netflix Japan and watch all of it legally as long as you have a Netflix account, because it's all there. It all exists on Netflix. The problem is you aren't in Japan. For instance, on Netflix in the US, they only have season 1 of Fairy Tail. Season 1, there are 9 seasons, but if you were in Japan, you could watch everything just by having your US Netflix account. That's all you have to do. It's ridiculous that Netflix has everything. All of Fairy Tail, all of so many shows, and they release earlier in Japan, whereas in the US or outside of Japan, all across the world, Netflix releases things at different times, but with this, you can see it all whenever you want to. But Soul, how do I teleport to Japan? Well, with my Surfshark link in the description, you can access servers all over the world. You can get 3 months free with the best price on the market. You can instantly connect your computer to Japan. You want to see what's on Netflix, Hulu, or any other website in Asia, Europe, or America? You can literally do it with a click of a button. Want to access Google Japan and see what they see? It's super fast and easy and super easy to install. You can run it on Chrome, Firefox, Mac, Windows, your choice. Plus, a VPN secures your data by preventing hacking, and it protects your IP address. You can use it when you're traveling, if you need to access servers in different countries like I do, and if you want to not get locked out of your accounts when you travel, because that's constantly happening to me, and be safe on public Wi-Fi, because Surfshark encrypts your data, making it useless to anyone who's trying to steal anything from you. Plus, you can also use the service on unlimited devices only with one account, meaning connect to Netflix Japan and go watch all 9 seasons of Fairy Tail like I am right now on your laptop, your desktop, your TV, whatever, with one account, because that's what I'm doing. Check it out, Surfshark VPN. Anyways, back to one of the moments we've been waiting years for. The guild is transported back to Daedalus, where Lucy, completely naked for some random reason as usual, is greeted by a child who calls her mom, where everyone questions whether or not she actually had a child. Of course, Lucy is red, her face is red, she's freaking out, and something interesting we learned from all of this is that Edo Lucy is possibly around 9 years older than our Lucy, meaning do we have to wait for a freaking time skip? Do we have to wait until a time skip happens for Lucy and Natsu to have children? Personally, at the age they are now, I don't see Earth Lucy and Earth Natsu having kids or getting married. Similar to Naruto, right? Everyone grew up before Kishimoto decided to marry off his characters, and I imagine that Mashima is doing the same thing. And you can tell by Earth Lucy's pure shock and embarrassment turning red when she yells, "Edo, Natsu, and Lucy got married," And so did Juvia and Grey, like she's freaking out. And one of the funniest moments I really skipped over in my last video was Natsu saying, "I can't wait to get a car," and Edo Lucy replying, "No way, you get a bit extreme when you're in a car," also turning red herself because of course the next chapter we do find out that they were in a car when they slept together. And I specifically remember like Natsu being in a car racing or something, or being scared in the original anime, like when they were in Edolis. I specifically remember that, so that's really funny, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch it and remember what happened because I just don't off the top of my head. But they were clearly in a car when they slept together. Natsu clearly got comfortable, and really now the reason that we know something will eventually happen is that Edo Lucy confirmed it after asking Earth Lucy and Natsu if they have the same type of relationship. And she then says, "We're doing well, so I'm sure you two will in the future too." To which Lucy responds, "Is that so?" Of course it's so, or it would never be in this chapter, it would never be discussed. And I mean, FT is probably going to continue at some point, right, with the next generation and an anime, as long as the series is popular, really. And the question is, where does Earth Natsu sleep with Earth Lucy? Because I don't see it happening in a car. That doesn't make sense. So fight over that in the comments, I guess. Now, after finding out about Natsu and Lucy plus Juvia and Grey's marriage and children on Edolis, the story is moving on with Selene, the moon god dragon hot lady who travels between dimensions, and specifically between a new world that we haven't known about, separate from Edolis. I guess it's called Alintier, which has way more magic on Earth, meaning you know exactly where this is going. You thought Natsu was so overpowered that he could never ever get any stronger. I mean, I think you all know that this means he's going to be so overpowered that there's no point to this dragon story, which I've been saying about 100 Years Quest forever. I just want casual Natsu and Lucy adventures, maybe where they're in actual danger and not a convoluted dragon plotline that never ends. But I digress. Alintier also has Exceeds, which is how the White Wizard came to Earth. And now Alintier needs saving, of course, and they have no way to leave Edolis until Mystagon comes up with another random convoluted medicine thing to send them back. Seriously, the story is suffering right now in 100 Years Quest. Like, I don't really see any character development, and it's just one random action after another happening to move the guild to a new location, to save the guild. It doesn't feel like they're having a hard-fought journey with the random teleporting between worlds. And also, yet again, the White Wizard is not the White Wizard, and her name is Ferris, who of course came to this world to save Alintier from Selene, and that boring objective will now fall on our main characters. But hey, at least we got some drop-dead gorgeous Erza cover art, am I right? That's what we're here for. Now, how exactly is Alintier in danger? Well, these whiteout wizards erase the overabundance of magic there to stop explosions, but this Selene god dragon woman wants to use the whiteout power to kill the other dragon gods for dun 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 dun, absolutely no real reason. And the best part of the chapter anyways was when Natsu calls Selene a babe and Lucy gets pissed off. Again, hilarious. Seriously, Selene is doing all of this and reviving Alderaan because, I quote, to make Earthland more interesting. What kind of motive is that? I swear, Mashima is way too concerned with Eden Zero right now to put effort into 100 Years Quest, and it's really showing, and that's okay. I'm really happy he's working on this new series, and I'm excited to read it. And yeah, FT has never been much about the story for me anyways. It's more for my love for Mashima's artwork, and the fact that he's not doing it now really hurts, I think. But the character development is really suffering here. The villains have no real interesting motivation. As you can see, we're missing out on Juvia and Grey, Erza and Jellal, Natsu and Lucy's side stories and missions and danger and love, and now they've teleported again to Alintier. So I don't see this dragon story changing anytime soon, especially with chapter 69. Which, I'm not saying chapter 69 wasn't pretty interesting. I mean, I love the random weird stuff happening. So the giant hand coming out of the ocean and dropping the team in a place where it snows from the ground. That's exciting. And so is classic Lucy being chased by a monster by herself again, and surprisingly in the end she wasn't even held up from the ankles as her clothes fell off this time. Which I'm not saying won't happen in the next chapter, we'll see about that, but Taurus actually comes in to save the day and drop a thumbs up on that new outfit like you should be doing on this video, and that's why my fingers are crossed for an anime, these Taurus scenes like this and Lucy's new outfit. Plus, these are already interesting ways to use the excess magic. I mean, Erza's mother being able to emerge from Windy, which is already kind of confusing, but whatever, and the celestial spirits coming out on their own. But it seems like an interesting world after all. I mean, Hiro's using this excess magic thing in a pretty cool way, and I'm excited to see where that goes, I guess. But in the end, we have yet another pawn who's probably gonna get wrecked per usual. I mean, I like her character design, but we'll find out about that. You know, honestly, original Fairy Tail's overarching story with Zeref constantly looming in the background of every adventure made it something really special and exciting. Zeref was always this enigmatic, dark character, but this is a really straightforward, kind of convoluted story with characters that just aren't shining like they used to, new characters that are uninteresting. I'm really missing the old FT days about right now, and I'm honestly interested to know as to whether or not you all are too, or have you just moved on to Eden Zero? Let me know down in the comments, and of course drop some thumbs up, because at least we found out in some world that Natsu actually slept with Lucy and they got married, which is pretty crazy after all these years. The real heart of Fairy Tail feels like it's getting closer and closer to an end, but because I mean Natsu and Lucy and Erza and Jellal and GREIGE and Juvia, it's finally happening, right? And in the actual manga, not just on Hiro Mashima's Twitter account. And speaking of Twitter, I just posted a beautiful NaLu art piece up on Twitter and Instagram at soul_animation, so make sure you go check that out. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe if you haven't yet, and help me get to 250K on YouTube finally.